Okay, we've tidied up all this front gasket surface here, and I've buffed all the bolts up and the nuts up and all that, and I've put a little bit of gasket goo here overnight, and look, it's soaked in a little bit, and that's fine. We're happy with that. Now, I have the gearbox sitting on a trolley here. Look, that's moving at one hand, very easy to do. Now, I've taken a bit of time to line up the two surfaces and get them pretty close here. And we have a bottom spline for the PDO that has to line up with our hydraulic pump spline here. And that hydraulic spline, that runs through to run the PDO, so it's driven constantly, it's live drive. And with the high-low range here, we have this shaft, and on this shaft here, we can put that in now or put it in later, it just doesn't matter. This shaft goes from your high-low planetary here onto the back of the pinion, and there's no trouble later on getting it down in here and sorting it from there. But in this instance, I just thought I'd put it in here and then it's in there. We'll show you how to sort that out. Now, you're turning the gearbox there now, and if we bring this back into neutral on the detent, that can just sit there. We don't have to line that up. That'll line up later on when we choose to bring that back. So this piece here, that's a shear tube, and this little groove here, you'll see the splines stop in there, and there's different shear tubes for different horsepower tractors, and you'll notice one has 1 or 2 or 3 grooves in them. And say you don't actually wreck anything in the transmission, that's what that's all about. It can shear through there. Probably the little 135 may not have power to shear that off, but I've seen it happen with the big ones. The symptom in that is that you're driving along and you might hear a bit of a click or a bang, and you have no drive. So, okay, let's try and line this up. Now, I've put a little bit of grease on the front of the spline here, so when the splines come back, they'll slide a little bit. And I've got 11/16 spanners ready, so this splitting stand that we bought from overseas, it is just a cracker. That is so easy, like one-handed. And as we come back here, I'll probably have to just jack it up just a little bit by the look of that. And we'll bring in... Oh, knocked my torch off. And I can't actually see. Now if your PDO's in, you can turn your PDO shaft to help line this up, but I don't have it in. I'll go around the front and turn the PDO shaft. Look at that. Easy as. So that's the benefit of buying a bit of gear. Buying a good quality splitting stand. There's no dowels on here, and there's no bolt goes in here. That bolt, that hole there is, I believe, where the wiring can go through. The bolts seem to go from the back to the front with the nuts on the front. I've had a look at my other tractors, that's how they are, because I couldn't remember how they work. Too many bloody beers in between pulling it apart and putting it together again, I think. And we'll just get a couple of bolts to secure all this. that stand will be in the road underneath for doing the bottom bolts up, but look, that doesn't matter. If we get quite a few down the side here all lined up. Which way did that go? That way there. That hole there doesn't want to line up for some reason. What's going on there? Must need a wiggle, and if that doesn't work, give it a jiggle. That hole seems to not want to line up there, I don't know why. Seems to be out just a little bit, but we'll get a screwdriver and we'll sort that out, I think. And I'll just try and tighten. And look, just nip up, not tighten it properly until all the bolts are in place. But we need enough in that we can take the centre splitting stand out here, or slide it forward to get to the lower bolts. So I still need to sort that. Okay, I'll run around here and tighten these bolts up, get this sorted out, and when it comes to putting the coupler in here, I'll come down in and I'll try and let you know how we do that. Well, that's it. All bolted together now. So we've got the gearbox on the diff housing. We have the final drives all on and set up, and the axle's all done. So now we'll go back into the top there, and that main drive shaft that we were looking at before, that it hooks onto the pinion, well, we'll get the lights all set up and we'll show you how to set that up. Well, we've got the camera set up, we've got lights over here, camera here, microphone here. So we'll see how we go. Now this is the front of the tractor, this is the back, there's the crown wheel and pinion this way, and this little shaft here that I'm going to show you is, I'll try and keep my arm out of the way, this is the shaft that comes out of the back of your high-low, and so you can get it out. I always put a bit of grease up the back end, but you can get it out, and look, you could probably get it out and slide it out there if you ever needed to. So we'll put that back in the front section here, and I've just slid the selector all the way back just to support the shaft. Now we need to bring that forward and line up the pinion shaft here, but in doing that we also need to line up the spline on the front shaft here. So we can turn this a little bit. There we go. Right, so that's right back. The collar is back as far as it can go. The shaft here is right forward as far as it can go. And the idea is to work out the tightest place you can put this pin. Now on the loosest hole here, you'll see the pin goes through easy. So you know it will go through. You can see that there. And it looks, in the past, you can just see a little shiny mark around here, so it looks like the pin was in there. But to hold this forward as hard as we can and put the pin in there, it won't go. So we come around to the next hole. You see they're staggered. So around to the next hole. That's in nicely. So we turn him over. And all we really need to do is spread his legs. These are quite a hard split pin normally as well. If I turn him around this way, I might be able to get my pliers through the hole and try and stay out of harm's way. Now I do have a little knockometer here. Make that a not so little knockometer. Now, I like to come in now and just shorten these up a little bit. There's no need for them to be that long. Does it matter? Probably not. But if you hang on, I'll go and get some side cutters. Right, we'll just take the edge off those fellas a little bit. I probably should have shortened it before I put it through. One. Two. Now I have a little punch here, so I'm just going to lock him up there. So now that cannot physically go forward. The high low goes in and out. We've got it spread as far as we can go. So look, that's it. The gearbox is on, the drive shaft is on. If I go around the front and turn the PDO, you should hear the hydraulic pump squawk just a little bit. So there is a little noise there, so we know we're turning there. So what I would probably do next is do the PDO shaft, bring the PDO in from the back here, and we should be okay to put that in, and then the whole back end up to there is done, and yeah, we can do the PDO from here, we can put the steering box on from here, and I'm yet to pull the top off the 135 multi-power to pop back on here. So there you go, the gearbox is on. We feel like we're getting somewhere.